Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Duffel Podcast. My name is Emily Chavez, and I'm here with my husband, Ezra Chavez.
Hello.
And Tim Thornton.
Hello.
And Annie Thornton.
Your special guest.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
having us on.
Yeah, it's super fun. I'm excited that you guys are willing to do this with us. Yeah, it's going to be great. We're all ready and excited to head out on this grand adventure of doing this at a professional podcast studio.
Creator Zone.
Yep, Creator Zone down the street. We love you guys, Creator Zone, but unfortunately they forgot we were coming and they put a 3D printer in the podcast studio and had totally taken out all the chairs. So we're back at home doing our home podcast. I wanted to start off by you guys kind of introducing yourselves and telling our wide and amazing audience, basically Annie, who is our audience, and Annie is now on the podcast. So Annie, you can tell yourself all about yourself. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, tell us how you guys ended up being married.
Deep subject.
So you guys were neighbors growing up. No, I'm just kidding.
No. No, we lived thousands of miles apart from each other growing up.
A true love story.
Yeah.
So Tim had a crazy life. Living
Yeah.
overseas, going on adventures, and I've just lived here in the Lake Stevens area my whole life. And went on one adventure, and on that adventure I met Tim. And we started dating after I graduated from Bible college. And actually when we started dating, well, we talked in the trailer that one day when you came to visit my parents for the first time, and you actually asked me to marry you. Well, not quite. You were like, well,
wow, I
you were
remember
like,
this.
Annie, I just really like you, and I would love to marry you someday. And I was so thrilled. And I was like,
Aww.
well, yeah, I mean, I'd love to marry you too. And I was like, so are we like dating? And you were like, yeah. And then you were pretty emotional, but like happy. And that's how we started dating.
It's a good thing to be emotional about.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
Tim
big deal.
asked me to marry him, and I said yes. And then we started dating. And now we're actually married.
Yeah.
We've been married for 4 years.
Yep, 4 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
2019?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. And Tim, you grew up in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so do you have
Uh-huh.
any crazy wild stories about Indonesian
Oh,
living?
man. Oh, Indonesian women, you said?
No, living.
Oh, man.
I mean,
Podcast took a turn.
this is great.
Oh.
Oh, totally misheard.
That's awesome.
Indonesian living. Yeah.
Living, yeah.
That was cool. Lots of stories come to mind. But,
What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten
ooh.
over there?
Oh boy.
Yeah, a few things I probably won't mention.
Okay, that's okay.
But had smoked freshwater eel. That was actually really good.
Oh, was it
Smoked.
Tasted
really?
pretty good.
Kind
yeah.
of rubbery?
No,
No.
it wasn't. It was like fish.
Oh, nice.
And it tasted really good. Kind of like salmon.
Okay.
So
I
that
love salmon.
was good. Even though it was weird. I've never had eel before. Basically, probably the most interesting thing about Indonesian food is oftentimes you don't know what you're eating. If you go down the street, you get food from a random vendor, and you don't know what's in there. You pay them 50 cents was typical for a meal,
Okay.
and you got what you got. So
Yeah.
The mystery box.
yeah,
50
Yeah.
cents.
Yeah.
And if it tasted good, you just ate it
Uh-huh.
and moved on with your life.
Yeah, rice, vegetables, and some kind of meat, and you didn't always know what the meat was. So
Okay.
So do you think you ever ate dog meat?
it's
Or cat
possible.
meat?
I don't think cat meat.
Okay.
But possibly dog. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask questions.
Isn't that fairly common, I think, maybe to eat dogs in other
It
cultures?
is. Yeah. Asian cultures for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So Indonesia was a fun experience. I moved to the States when I was 17, and then eventually went to Jackson Hole Bible College in Wyoming, and that's where Annie and I met. So that was,
Mm-hmm.
God's perfect timing in all of that.
Yeah, that's super sweet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, usually what we do on the podcast is I just talk about my week, and you guys chime in and banter as
Okay.
you feel so led.
Yeah.
My thing of the week is I went to Lowe's because I was working on some landscaping in our backyard. Long story short, about 2 years ago, we put this little path out to my little garden bed in the backyard, some pavers, and I wanted to get the same exact pavers to match the other pavers in the backyard. So here we are 2 years later, and I went to Lowe's. I was like, hopefully they have those pavers. And we have 2 children who I love very much, but going into any store is you got to unbuckle them, and Lowe's is Lowe's, so one fits in the cart and the other's walking along, and he's yelling at all the forklifts and all the trucks that are parked everywhere. It's just this whole thing. So by the time we go into Lowe's, it's been like 10 minutes. And I asked the lady, I had a picture of the paver, and I was like, hey, do you guys have these pavers? And she's like, no, I don't think so. I think we only have pavers that have like a smooth surface, and ours has a design on it. She's like, well, let me look it up in the computer really quick. I mean, it took her like 5 seconds. Click, 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 click. Nope, doesn't look like we have them. And then she's like, but you can drive through the garden, like the outdoor garden area, or the yard. You can drive through the yard and see if they're out there. And I was like, okay, no problem. So we go all the way back out to the car and get all buckled in. And meanwhile, I forgot to mention, it's pouring rain. It was like one of those days last week where it was just a downpour. And of course I picked just the worst time to go on my little adventure. So I drive through the yard, and there's like 100 of them stacked up out there. And I was like, of course. And I was like, okay, I don't think I can unload the kids and go all the way back in there just to buy this. I'm like, I'm just going to park on the curb and dash into the garden center. Because there's a cashier like right inside the door of the garden center. So I just parked in like the no parking zone right outside the door and like locked the car, and I dash in, and I was like, hey, I saw these pavers out in the yard, and I just want to buy like 3 of them. And I had taken a picture of the item number, and I'm trying to be like really proactive because I'm not getting much help from the employees here. And she's like, okay, well, we have a paver display right there on the wall. You can just go pick out which paver it is, and I'll punch it in for you. And I look over, and in the garden center, there's this wall that's got all the pavers lined up on this huge display, and you can just walk over and pick out your paver. And I was like, what Lowe's employee doesn't know that they have a paver display?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man.
Wow, the employee that didn't want to go out in the rain.
Exactly.
She's like, you can go out and do it. So I just want to tell all of our listeners, even though, Annie, you're sitting right here.
And the Lowe's employees.
And the Lowe's employees. We have, hundreds who listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
If you're going to Lowe's and you're looking for a paver, go into the garden center and you can just pick out your paver off the wall. Because I didn't know that they had that. Did you guys know that they had that?
No.
I
didn't
idea.
know that Lowe's had pavers.
Oh, yeah. Well, now
I
you
did.
know. They have pavers. Ezra knew.
Because I bought the first ones.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, you bought the first ones.
Okay.
So anyway, maybe this will be like revolutionary for you, but I just had to share that. And it just cracks me up that maybe she just forgot, or maybe she had no idea. But if I ever see her again, I'm going to let her know that
I don't know.
they have that.
Their Google reviews are pretty lows, so.
Oh, man. Are you guys Lowe's or Home Depot people?
I think I go to Home Depot more often.
Yeah, the church is a Home Depot.
Yeah, they have a Home Depot account.
Okay.
But I've noticed that Lowe's tends to have better prices on certain things.
Seriously?
Yeah, at least the things I've looked for, which is probably not a big variety.
Right.
I think the problem is like somebody bought a bunch of stuff from Home Depot like way back in the day, and then now we have to like match. So we have to, something breaks, we have to replace a carpet square, and we have to go back to Home Depot to like buy that.
Yeah.
So it's like once
All
you
our
start
carpets
in
from Home
one,
Depot.
you kind of have to keep going to that one. So that's what we keep running into.
Yeah.
But I do think I like Lowe's better too. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Forget Home Depot. We should just go
Hey, what?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like Home Depot's more vibrant. The orange makes me more excited when I go there.
Yeah.
It's like orange.
Oh,
with,
interesting.
With Lowe's, it's like a dark blue, just kind of like
No.
meh. Honestly, Home Depot employees are a little more animated.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. They're
Okay.
a little more friendly, I
Yeah.
think.
They know where their pavers are in their store.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, I do have to say, one of the ladies who was there was very nice and noticed that Max was just enthralled with like all this stuff in Lowe's because he loves like, I don't know, everything physical and wood and all the forklifts and everything's so great. And I guess Lowe's, one Saturday a month, they do crafts inside their lumber department. And it's free. All you have to do is register, and you can take your kids in there. And in November, we're going to go. It'll be our first time going, and they're going to build a little turkey. So we'll see how that goes.
That'd
Yeah.
be so fun.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so I'm super excited. Yeah. The lady, a different time I was at Lowe's, and a more helpful lady, she was like, oh, he loves trucks, here, I'm going to give him this little fire truck, because I think earlier that day they had done the craft thing, and it was over by the time we were there. So she gave me this kit, and we brought it home, and yeah, Max and I built a little fire truck together, and it's got little tiny nails you pound in, and he did pretty good. Yeah, I got a little hammer, and he was taking it very seriously. Was holding it and whacking away, and
Nice.
yeah. And I learned how horrible I am at following directions. Like, I put the front of the truck, this is totally off topic, I put the front of the truck on the wrong way. So you know how cars, it's got the roof that you sit under, and then the front of the car goes down where the windshield is, right? Down
at an angle.
At an angle, sloping down to the grill. And his fire truck, the tallest point is in the front, and it slopes down to the bed of the fire truck because I put the front on backwards. So,
Like permanently.
Yes,
Yeah.
the nails are
Nailed
in, they're
it.
set.
Is that the one downstairs?
Uh-huh.
Aww,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, I
so
didn't
funny.
know
Well,
this.
he doesn't speak mine.
Yep, he has no idea, and that was the very first piece I put on, and I was like, okay, this project is not going great, but oh well.
He loves it either
And
way.
he loves it. He doesn't even know. So, Ezra's going to be there for the turkey. Hoping
Yeah,
that it goes
exactly.
better, because Ezra knows how to follow directions. But
Right. We'll see.
anyway, yeah.
We'll have to talk about how I messed that one up.
Yeah, next podcast we'll
We'll
talk about the
see.
turkey.
Put the
Yeah,
head on backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Well, I like it with no head on. That's how I eat it.
Oh,
No head, no wings. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
This is how a turkey is supposed to be, Matt.
So brutal.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ezra grew up in Granite Falls, so tell us about the foods you ate growing up. No.
Yeah, let's see.
Headless turkeys.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No, that reminds me of that one Sugar Creek Gang episode where, like, there was that one evil turkey at the one boy's house, like Dragonfly. Oh no, so Dragonfly's dog chased some lady's prize turkey through a gate, and then Bill Collins was so afraid of the turkey's chasing him, he runs through the gate and, like, turns and closes it on the turkey's neck and kills it. And so he and Dragonfly got in huge trouble, and it was this whole drama, and the prize turkey was dead.
was dead.
Oh man.
Man, those books are so good. What
Yeah.
was that dog's name?
Alexander the Coppersmith.
Alexander the Coppersmith.
Oh.
Man, see, it's fun having Annie because she remembers so much. And I remember that book series. I couldn't really tell you much of, like, the actual stories. But now they say that, yeah. What was the term he used? Because the dog was annoying and he didn't like it. And he called it some fancy word.
He
It wasn't
did.
a delinquent, but it was like,
Oh.
it was something like
I
that.
I
don't
haven't read the
remember.
book.
Anyway.
This reminds me of the Bible character. Alexander the Coppersmith did me much harm.
Yeah.
Is what the Apostle Paul said.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, Bill Collins quoted that
Oh,
too. I think
okay.
that was. I don't think that was the dog's actual name. I think that's what Bill called the dog
Oh,
because he
really?
hated the dog
Oh, okay.
and the turkey
And
apparently.
the turkey, yeah. Is that why you related to Bill so much? Because
Yes.
you hate dogs?
hmm
Gotcha.
Mm.
For sure.
Okay.
But then the dog turns out to be. I think the moral of the story is the dog. Everybody likes the dog at the end because it saves him from a cougar attack.
Mm.
But that didn't help me.
Could a
I still
cat-
don't like dogs.
Could a cat protect you from a cougar?
Yeah,
Mm.
you
Mm. I guess the cougar's a cat.
Yeah, right.
True.
Cats
Yes.
and cats.
You need Charlie the lonesome cougar.
Yes,
He can
exactly.
protect you. We like to talk about life hacks. Anybody have any before I share a couple that I have?
So last week we had a little piece fall off of a deadbolt on a bathroom door at church,
Oh.
and figured out. Actually, Dennis helped me figure this out.
Okay.
The all it was just a C clip that was holding it on. So inside the mechanism, there's a C clip that holds the thing that turns, the thumb turn on a deadbolt.
Oh, okay.
And somebody must have turned it really hard and it just popped off. And so we figured out by looking at another deadbolt that there's a C clip in there, just a little plastic clip that holds it on, and it just sticks in there. And so instead of buying a $60 deadbolt,
Oh.
buy a like 50-cent C clip and
Nice.
can fix it. I don't know if that's a life hack, but
Man,
I learned how
so-
it worked.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Man, those things are so cool. You can, like, have a nice fix. You
Yeah.
don't have to, like, replace the whole thing.
Right.
mhm.
Yeah. I had, this is kind of related. I had rented, what do you call it? A carpet cleaner. A carpet cleaner from, was it Home Depot? It was Home Depot. man, see, we aren't faithful to Lowe's.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, well, I get it home, and it kind of has like a compressor type attachment for the water. So like the water tank. It was one of those things where Ezra's mom was here babysitting, so I have to like coordinate everything with like naps and this and that. She was here, and I put the kids down for a nap. I was like, perfect timing. I dash there, I get it, I dash back. And I was like, I have like an hour to do this before the kids wake up. And I couldn't get the attachment on. Like, I was forcing it as best I could. And you know how you have to pull a lever back, then you push it on, and then, release or whatever. Yeah. And I know how that works. I've used air compressor before, and I just couldn't get it on. I was really frustrated. I was like watching YouTube videos. I was like, come on. And I was like, you know what? I just got to take it back and tell the guy, like, this isn't working. So 15-minute drive, take it back. And he takes just like a wrench or something off the wall. And he's like, oh, this will do the trick. And he just tapped the needle tip that was attached to the vacuum. So it wasn't the attachment that's going over. So it's just a little tip. And he says sometimes the pressure inside pushes it out. Oh. And so you can't get the attachment on. Yeah. So he just took it and kind of goes like tap, tap, tap on the end of it. And then he like pulls back the lever, pops it right on. Like no problem at all.
Wow.
Anyway, so I was just like, wow. I had no idea that ever happens. And I was thankful that he had showed me because I brought it home and I had used it. And then the kids get up, blah, blah, and I got another opportunity later that day to use it again, and the pressure had built up and popped the thing out again. But because he had showed me how to do it, I just took like a rock and just like whacked it, and then it popped back on again. Nice. Anyway,
wow.
So I was like, man, I thought the like whole machine was broken and this and that. And he just whacked it and worked fine. I was like, man. So kind of with the deadbolts, like, man, it's just like little things that are easy fix if you know how to do it. If you don't, you're like, this thing's broken forever.
Just whack it a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why aren't you working?
Okay, actually that happened, was that like a week or two ago? So one of my headlights went out. And it was kind of due because like the other one had gone out a while before and like, we didn't replace them both, which was probably stupid. Anyway, so then the other one goes out and I drive home and Tim was like, yeah, well, my friend Jared, he's just like hit the light really hard and it would like turn back on. I'm like, no way. Whatever. So he goes out there and what did you do? You like, did you kick it? Okay,
no,
you just hit it.
He
whacks it and it turned on.
You're kidding me.
Get this, it's been on ever since. So we're holding out our luck for that.
Wow.
That is
crazy.
That is so funny. Yeah.
I am waiting for the perfect opportunity to say this joke, but I want to say something like my first husband in reference to Ezra, because he is my first husband. But I want to be like, something like Ezra told me, like, let's say Ezra's like, oh yeah, this is how you fix a deadbolt, and if I ever get the opportunity, whatever, I'll just be like, oh, no way, my first husband told me about that. And then I just want to see the person's reaction. Be like, wait, your first husband? And they're like, yeah, Ezra, my first husband. I have never had that opportunity yet, but I'm going to get it one of these days.
You just spilled the beans.
I did. Yeah. Oh, man.
What does your dad say? You're the best wife I've ever married or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I think he does say something like that.
He has sayings like that.
Yeah, you're the best wife I've ever had.
You're my favorite daughter named Emily.
Yeah.
Yes.
Favorite daughter named Annie.
Yep. All the dad jokes.
Yeah, and he'll be like, oh, you got your beautiful eyes and your hair from me because your mother still has hers. We're like,
yes, that's a classic thing. That one, I feel like, takes a little bit of thought to get. Yeah. And sometimes he'll say that in a group setting. And obviously, I've heard the joke about 1 million times. But whoever he's saying it for, like, totally doesn't get it. So they're just kind of like, haha, okay. And I'm just like, oh, man, like, do I explain it or do I just move on?
Okay, so Pops, if you're listening to this, because I think you will later, I think the joke is hilarious.
No, it is funny, yeah. But if people don't get it, it sounds like a little offensive. So you want to explain it.
Right.
It's okay, it's a joke.
About it. That's probably what makes it funny. Like, they're like, oh, heh. And then maybe like 10 seconds later, they're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
It's the type of joke where you're going to bed and you're like, oh, I got it.
I get it now. Yeah, totally. Yeah, is that like Emperor's New Groove? Like sleeping and then she's like, and then Kronk like opens the tent, she sits up and she's like, the llama, the talking llama.
Oh, right. Where have I seen that?
And he's like, because she looks so horrible.
There are cucumbers on rice.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that movie is funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, interesting. We never watched that until we were like late teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
We didn't grow up
Connor
watching it.
introduced it to
Yeah,
us.
Connor
Yeah,
did.
like last week in staff meeting at church, Tim randomly, out of the blue, he's like, is something burning? Like makes a sniffing noise. And I was like, my spinach puffs.
Is something burning?
My spinach puffs.
And
Man.
Pastor Carey was like, that's so funny. It was just like the
That
way
is
you said it was
perfect.
like an exact quote from the movie.
That
Walked
wasn't my
right
intention.
into it.
Was something burning?
It smelled
No.
like it.
Oh.
I don't know what it was.
That's funny.
Although, like 2 days later, the fire department came out of the
Oh.
blue because they said something was burning at church, but there were a bunch of people there and it was fine.
Wait,
So,
who said
yeah.
something was burning?
The fire department.
It was
Their
a false
alarm
alarm
system
Yeah.
like tripped.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the music team was there and they were
Oh,
totally
wow.
fine and were not burning anything. And it was like, okay,
Nope.
it really is
exciting.
fine.
That happens every now and then,
Yeah.
actually.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like connected to the fire alarm system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
Mhm.
no one's
That is.
there and something happens, they know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Sometimes
They
they
have-
come within a minute, actually.
Wow.
Because they're just down the road.
Anyway, I feel like I was gonna. Oh, quotes. Yeah, I feel like people who have good memories are good at finding the perfect situation to say like the perfect quote or like the funny thing. I was trying to say something funny earlier, and I was trying to quote Cars. You know when Mac, the big truck, gets passed by the minivan who's got the mattress flapping on top? Because
He's falling asleep.
He's falling asleep. He's like, oh, I'm
I
kind of
remember
tired, so he
that.
slows down. He's going to pull off the freeway to take a...
You must have a son. I haven't seen Cars in like
Oh.
That's true.
so.
We watched Cars for fun,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
like a month
Mattress
ago.
is like flapping on the back.
Mattress flapping, so it's like... brrr. Breeze and Lightning McQueen looks out the window, and he's like, hey, Mac! He's like, why are we getting passed by a minivan?
What? A minivan?
And I was trying to be funny and tell Ezra, because we were like on the freeway and we were stuck behind a truck, and we end up passing this like nice Tesla, and I was like, oh, they were probably like, hey, why are we being passed by a minivan?
Oh,
Because we
yeah.
drive a minivan.
Yeah, exactly.
But I couldn't remember the quote.
Yeah, you said it way better this time than the first time.
So I basically like stumbled over. I was like, hey, Mac, there's a minivan that's going by us or something like that. And Ezra just looks at me and it's like, look, I don't write movie scripts and I can't quote movie scripts, so...
I had to remind you of Mac's name.
Oh, yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, he told the big truck that is anyway,
It
I was
was
just
funny.
like, I could be a really funny person, except I can't remember the quote, so I just...
I think that's
Watch
funnier.
it.
That
I
is
think
funny.
that's
Do you
funnier
think?
personally.
Oh,
yes.
thank you. This is why Annie thinks I'm funny.
That was the hardest I've laughed this entire podcast. Was just now.
Really?
When you like messed it up again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably why you think I'm funny, is because
Yeah.
I'm never quite getting it exactly on the nose, and you think that's funny.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's very
story of my life.
Oh, are you going to show them your song?
But,
Oh,
yeah! I have to show you guys this song. Okay, so,
Oh, man.
let me tell you about my dream.
oh.
Poor Ezra. He is
Poor
he's a
me.
very kind person, and he always asks me in the morning, he's like, so did you have any crazy dreams last night? And sometimes, I must confess, I take like 10 minutes of his morning to tell him about my dream, which don't matter, and
Sound familiar?
yeah,
No.
anyways, and Ezra is just like, interesting, okay. And I'm
Very
not a
good
prophetess,
Yeah.
so none of my dreams ever have amounted to anything. But
yet, at least.
not yet,
Nothing
at least.
prophetic.
However, this song that I had a dream about, I wrote this song, and it was a hit, and it just ministered to so many people, and it
This
was
is in her dream.
amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it just, I mean,
I knew that.
I follow you on Spotify.
Yeah, exactly.
and Tim's like, I can totally see it, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all your songs are amazing. So this one must just be top notch. So I write this song, and in my dream, I remember that I was comparing myself to Taylor Swift. I'm sorry to everyone out there who
Sorry,
thinks
Taylor. We know you're
that
listening.
She's not like the most popular female singer, but she kind of is. So in my dream, I was like, I have surpassed the most popular famous singer in the whole world because of this song. You guys ready to hear it?
Okay. Oh, you
So,
suck.
So
pause. So tell them what you did. You woke up in the
I
middle of the night and
wake up.
recorded it and started
No
singing.
In the middle of
way.
my
Like
dream.
Pops does. Oh, in your dream.
Yeah, so I wake up in the middle of me being famous and changing lives with this song.
Oh, no.
And I jump out of bed. I dash downstairs because I can't wake up the house with my amazing song. And I got my phone and I sing it into my phone so that I can remember how it goes because it's so important. I cannot forget.
Is this the original audio?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also record Max singing sometimes, so let me make sure this is me.
Yeah, it's Max. That sounds like the Mexican radio. Explain that. I'm interested now.
It was this really pretty song on the radio, and I recorded it, and I was going to send it to Lupita. If it's like a good song, I would totally listen to it again.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no way of knowing what it is, so that's what that is. Let's see
I'm
here.
like, I imagine we're about here.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait, what?
I'm like, what we're about here?
This song is amazing. What we're going to do is I'm going to let you guys listen to it because it's kind of quiet, and
Okay.
I'll put the audio in so
Oh,
that
yeah.
all of our listeners can hear. So don't worry about that. But so you guys can put your heads together and hear my amazing song. My voice was giving out.
Are there any lyrics?
I think lyrics are coming up. Here. Nope. I guess
No
not.
lyrics?
Okay.
Oh,
The lyrics were.
man.
I think
Well,
I
it
at
is
the very
pretty.
beginning.
It is.
It was
You
like.
could sell the audio to Taylor Swift.
If you had some lyrics.
Yeah.
It was. This is really sad that I still remember this. It was. God, I hope she remembers. And that was it. That was the beginning. And then the rest was the melody that you guys just heard. But God, I hope she remembers. Remembers what? I'm not really sure.
Remembers how to sing this song.
I'm
Oh,
gonna work
man.
on the lyrics and I'll get back to you guys.
Oh,
So yeah.
Actually, this is a good tune, though.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be amazing once I finish it.
You just need more dreams.
I need a couple more dreams.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Last night I dreamed about dolphins that turned into dinosaurs. So I haven't
Whoa.
had any lyrical dreams come again, but when they do, I'll finish it up and publish it, and you guys will be the first to know. I'll keep you guys updated.
The future is bright.
Oh, I wanted to
Oh.
talk about.
Oh, go ahead.
What were you
Oh,
going to say?
Yeah.
I was going to say, we're looking forward to the song, so we'll hold you to it.
Oh,
The lyrics and stuff.
oh, thank you. Well, that inspires me. Maybe I'll actually work on it.
Oh, Tim.
Because when you do,
Just
we're
kidding.
going to come up with the greatest parody of all time to make fun of it.
Right, exactly. Just
What
waiting.
do you mean?
Tim will be like, and they can't
Yeah.
even remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Me,
The
as a
lyrics
man who
too
does
are
it every day of my life.
Oh, man. We're going to move on. I want to talk about word pronunciations.
Oh,
Pronunciations?
pronunciations.
Okay.
Let's
Starting
start
off
with
strong!
We're going to start
Pronunciation.
with that word. And you are correct that that's how it's spelled.
Pronunciation.
Unfortunately, Annie's really good at spelling. Pronunciation. Yeah, that is how it's spelled, right?
Yeah, we should just not talk anymore. You guys take over.
Annie is going to lead this segment.
Yeah.
Do you say pronunciation?
I say pronunciation.
Okay. Do you say, how do you pronounce your words?
No, I say pronounce.
Is that how it's spelled?
It is spelled
Nounce?
P-R-O-N-O-U-N-C-E.
Of course.
Oh.
But not pronunciation.
No, I can't remember how pronunciation is spelled.
Or pronounced. I mean,
I'm like, I learned how to pronounce words correctly. Okay, well, I had no idea that is pronunciation. I
So we're
just
going to
learned
work
that.
on this segment. Next segment.
That's what this segment is.
Exactly. You can't plan these things.
Did you say
hilarious.
pronunciation?
I probably would have said pronunciation.
Yeah.
Pronunciation. Maybe I do say pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
I say pronounce, but I don't think
Yeah.
I ever say pronunciation.
Yeah, not in your common vernacular.
Yeah, exactly. It's vernacular. I'm just kidding.
And it's not binoculars, it's binoculars.
Exactly.
We're learning about pronunciation with our binoculars and
I
our...
can't see that. Give me the binocular.
binoculars.
It's a horrible pronunciation.
Oh, man.
But we can continue it. I mean, that's how you started off right there.
Other
Wait.
oculars that we could...
Okay.
I was trying to be clever, but I am not. So we'll move on.
It's clever.
Okay. What I want to do is I want to describe the word that I'm trying to get you guys to say, so I don't give away how I pronounce it. And so what we're going to start off with is these monkeys that are big and orange. What are those called?
Okay.
Orangutan.
Yeah.
Oh?
Orangutan is how most people say it.
Okay. How do
Or
you say it?
orangutan.
Orangutan? Yeah. How do they say it different in Indonesia?
Yeah. Orangutan.
Orangutan.
Ooh.
Is
Yeah.
that in Indonesian or that's English with the Indonesian accent?
So orangutan is actually 2 Indonesian words put together.
Oh, really?
It is.
Is that
Wow.
where it's derived from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
and it's spelled the same way. So like English people just borrowed it and kind of say it weird.
Yeah.
Orangutan.
Doesn't
I
it
grew
like
up saying.
little man or like
It
orange
means
dude?
jungle person.
Oh, yeah.
So hutan is
Little
jungle,
man.
orang is person. Yeah.
Okay, say that
Yeah.
again. Utan?
Hutan is jungle and
Jungle?
orang is person.
Orang.
Orang.
So
So we're
orangutan
all
is a jungle
orangutans.
We're orange.
Yeah!
Orange people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where the name comes
That's
from.
so
Oh.
cool.
Yeah.
Guys, our podcast is very educational.
Exactly.
I am loving it. Great. I always knew we were destined for greatness. So orang
Orangutan.
is orange.
Orang is
Person.
person. But
And-
it sounds like and looks like orange.
Orang. Oh,
And
yeah.
that's most people
Utan.
think that orangutan, got its name
From
orange. But no.
But it's not.
Yeah.
And utan.
Us Westerns,
Jungle.
we know nothing.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah. So I'll say how I mispronounce things, and then Tim will give us the origin of the word.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was just happenstance, I think.
That's so cool, though. See, that's why I love doing this. It's
Yeah.
like it's fun just to hear what everybody brings to the table.
Exactly.
It's awesome. Annie always gets on me about ornaments because I say Christmas ornament, and it's ornament because it's an N.
And
Oh.
you say the world in solemn spirit.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that's
Well,
also
that
wrong.
was a mistake that I just made in my childhood.
That sounds
Wait,
right,
so what do
though.
you say?
Yeah, doesn't it?
It
Ornaments?
does.
Yeah, ornaments.
Ornaments.
And I'm trying to change, but it's ornaments.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like ornamental, ornament.
Ornamental.
Ornamental.
Not ornamental.
Is it ornamental?
Is that a word?
Ornament, yeah.
Ornamental is a word?
Yeah.
Wait, is it ornamental?
No.
Like, oh.
It
There
sounds
is
close.
no D.
Oh.
ABCD, there's
Ornamental?
no D.
I thought maybe it was
Ornamental.
like ornament
No.
is singular and then ornamental is...
The closest word I can
With a
get
D.
is like ordinance
Oh.
in the church. Like an
Oh,
ordinance,
ordinance.
which is like baptism and communion. And that's not the same as the little thing you put on the Christmas tree.
That's true, yeah. No one else here says ornament.
It's
No.
like
You should have asked me.
espresso and
Because
espresso.
now I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But I was like, do I say it that way?
Should have had us say it
ornaments,
first.
ornaments. I think I said ornaments.
Ornaments. With a
yeah.
D.
Yeah,
Huh.
I think
Yeah.
ornaments.
Anyway.
It
Growing
sounds like a candy. Like, hey,
Oh.
pass the ornaments.
Pass the chocolate.
Yeah.
Ornaments.
That's good.
I just played off Tim. I was like, that's a good point.
Oh man, this is great. Ornaments. That is so funny.
Everyone's having a good time here.
There's a word I used to say wrong all the time when I was younger, and I'd read it. It always seemed to be in the books I'd read, And I thought it was misled. M-I-S-L-E-D.
Okay.
How would you say
Wait,
that? M-I-S-L-E-D.
Misled.
That's it.
Oh.
Misled.
I was going to say missled.
Yeah, that's the one. Either missled or misled is how I always thought
He
it
misled
was.
you.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And then finally it dawned on me.
misled.
But I was like a junior in high school or something. I don't know why it took me so long. Like, oh, misled. That makes so much more sense.
That's so interesting that you say that. I feel more brave to say what I'm about to say. Epitome. I always read as epitome. Yep, and I think I did until like after I graduated college.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like 7 years ago that I discovered that it's not epitome. But because I knew what it meant, I just read it as epitome and I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
And then, and I had
That's what
heard,
it looks like.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I had heard epitome thrown around too.
Uh-huh.
And then one day, I just realized that that's the word I had been reading.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, pneumonia was the word for me when I was in like
Oh, that's...
fifth grade. I was like, pneumonia?
Oh yeah.
And then someone told me it's like pneumonia, and I was like, oh!
It's like, why is there a P in
Yeah, exactly. I was so confused.
Does not make sense.
Yes.
Oh,
Have you
that's
heard
funny.
of the comedian Brian Regan?
Ooh, Brian Regan.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't know if I'd recommend him across the boards,
Is
but
he a clean comic? Or
I don't think so, like
Okay.
all the time.
maybe
But
not all the time?
the one like blurb I've heard him give is about pronouncing words,
Okay.
and he has this part in there where he says it was the epitome of hyperbole.
Oh.
So when you said that, it made me think of that.
That's so funny. Oh, that's good.
Well, I could be wrong about it being a famous quote, but I'm pretty sure that some famous smart dude said once that you should never make fun of a person for mispronouncing a word because it means they learned it by reading, and that's a really like profitable thing to do is to read. And sometimes you figure those things out later because it wasn't just like talking to people or just like you being spoon-fed. It's because you discovered it and eventually had to figure out what it meant and how to say it. So I would agree with that.
Oh, that's very comforting. Yes, we're so well read that we all messed up on words.
Yeah, well read.
But I guess that is a good point. Because if you don't know how to pronounce something, it has to be because you've never heard it pronounced properly.
Or you just hang out with people who pronounce it wrong. Pneumonia, oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I have other words here. Now that I say that, I'm like, yeah, here's all these other words that I don't know how to pronounce.
Wait, like right now?
You guys want to do a couple more?
Sure.
Yes.
Or, well.
Oh, no, yeah,
Okay.
Well, I
totally.
meant like
We can
right
wrap
now
it.
you don't know how to pronounce them.
I do.
Oh, you
because
do?
I
Okay, that's
looked it
good.
up. I was discussing this with Ezra earlier. Not that I don't know how to pronounce this, but I just want to know your guys' opinion. So the thing that blooms is called a...
Flower.
Right, and the thing that you bake with is called...
Flower.
Flour.
It's called flour. And I say flour that you bake with a W, like flour.
Yeah.
But what do you think about calling it flour without making your lips go together?
Flour.
Flower.
Flour.
Act like you're from the South. Flour.
Baking with flour,
Flour.
and not flour.
Oh, I see the difference.
I've never
I was
thought
thinking
about
about
I've
that.
never thought
What do you
about that
think?
either.
Good job. You did amazing.
Changing the world.
Yeah,
okay?
changing the world.
As I'm kneading my pizza dough, I'm like, flour. Flour.
Flour.
Flour.
I wish Ezra would bring me some flowers.
But then, how would you guys say we need to get in our car? Or would you say we need to get in our car?
Ooh.
I say hour,
Okay.
but that's like an intentional thing because so I do like so much secretary work and I have like my whole adult life that on the phone you have to be really specific and people get confused. So I do separate like R-A-R-E and hour, O-U-R, or even like hours, you know, like it sounds like that.
Hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
How
Hours.
many hours did you work today?
No, like it's, yeah, so I say our car.
Our car. Okay, yeah.
But I don't know anybody who does, really. None of my friends do that.
Say our
Yeah, they're like,
our car.
I
yeah,
usually say R.
come over
yeah.
to our house for dinner.
Just tell. I mean, it's just I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Come to our car. Get in our car. You know,
In
just
our
like,
car.
Like that's where
come over
slang
to-
comes from. You're just so
right.
lazy. You just start like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Start mumbling.
Yeah, I don't think I say our either. Like, I'll be like, yeah, why don't you guys come over to our house?
In a more of a professional setting, I do notice I speak clear. You know, clear. Yeah, exactly.
That's very clearer.
More clearer.
When I'm
more
needing
clear.
my flour.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, issue. Or issue. Ezra doesn't think that.
Okay,
anyone
what did
says
I bring
issue.
up?
A tissue.
Tissue. Yeah, do you say a tissue? Give me a tissue, please.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say issue.
Okay. I don't either. I just thought that some people do, maybe.
Yeah.
Comment below if you say issue. Let's see. Oh, syrup.
I'm an issue with that.
Oh.
Syrup or syrup? Or syrup.
Wow.
I say syrup, but I've heard people say syrup, like in
Syrup.
Jackson Hole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Like people from Pennsylvania, like a bunch of this stuff, they say it differently for sure. Syrup.
Syrup. Yeah.
Yeah, syrup for me.
Syrup.
Yeah, same.
Syrup. Yeah. If you guys are hanging out with someone who says syrup, do you just start saying syrup? Because that's what people say. Or do you stick to your guns and you're like, I say syrup?
Huh.
I just quit saying the word.
Pass that.
That's
whatever
that.
is.
A sugary liquid, please.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Is
If you
that
don't, I'll take
Mrs.
it issue with you.
Butterworth?
Wait, what'd you say?
Is that Mrs. Butterworth?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, caramel.
Ooh.
Caramel.
Caramel.
I say caramel.
Caramel.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Caramel. Yeah.
So, Jerica and I did some research on this, and we discovered that it's not caramel or caramel.
Oh.
It's
Caramel.
caramel.
Oh.
Caramel.
So it's a blend of the two.
Whoa.
So instead of caramel, it's not caramel.
Huh.
It's caramel.
Caramel.
At least that's what Google told us.
It's like camel with the R and the A added in there.
Camel, caramel. Yeah.
Caramel.
Yeah, I
Wow,
guess so.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's brown like a camel.
It tastes like a camel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what camels drop behind on the path too.
Yeah.
Those little caramel squares.
And then it rolls in the sand, and then it's a payday.
Rolls in. Oh, perfect.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's why I have so much protein.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. There's one more thing we're gonna do.
What's that?
Ezra is gonna tell us about his campaign that he
Oh,
launched,
yeah.
Oh.
and yeah, do you want to tell us briefly how that
Yeah,
went?
so I have a business. It's a sighting business. And part of having a business is having the marketing side of the business where you go out, you broadcast your work to other people. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to have a campaign on Google. And I'd already done one last year. So I kind of was familiar with Google campaigns. Well, things have definitely changed over the past year as far as Google campaigns go. It's way more detailed. There's way more facets to it. And they actually have campaign officers for your business page now. I don't know if it's because they're trying to get more money from you or what, but they made it a lot harder. You can't just say, this is what I want my campaign to say, this is what I want to advertise, and this is where I want to do it. There's like 50 more, different facets to it. So I kind of rushed through it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to like do the bare minimum and do all the suggested items. So that's what I did. And I promise you, I typed in 98258 and 30 miles from that zip code. And I launched it, and I have Wix, so they send you notifications with locations where people are viewing the ad. And from time to time, I get views from like India, people who are probably just trying to hack me or whatever. And really no one can access any bank account on my website because no one can make payments that way. So I was like, oh, Pakistan. I was like, yeah, get that once in a while. And then like seconds later, Indonesia. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just coincidence. And there's like Vietnam, Philippines, like, Africa, all these places. And I was like, okay, I think something is like really wrong. And then I was like, okay, maybe Google kind of messed up and they'll figure out that like the ad is going to a different location. And then the weird thing started to happen. I got emails from people in these locations begging me for work. So I was like, oh no. And they're sending me pictures of their passport, their IDs. They're sending me a picture of their work. There's a picture of this guy smashing like a pottery clay with his foot. He like stepped on it and it was like destroyed. And I'm like, why is he sending me this? It was like the weirdest thing. So it was like 1
He was showing
week.
you that he was very strong.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like the weirdest thing ever, and I felt bad for the people because they were really, I think, interested in coming to America to work. So I was like, wow, this is really sad to see all these people desperate for work. You know, a lot of painters. There's a lot of painters that wanted to work for me. And consequently, I'm paying for each click. So one day I had 400 clicks. And that was just in one day, and I was like, this has to stop. So I contacted Google. I was like, look, this is not working out. You guys need to change it. And 2 days go by, and it's still happening. So I go in myself, and I had realized that somehow the map configuration for the campaign, sure enough, was in India. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So then I like drag it. You know, you can drag like the little radius bubble, and I drive it halfway across the world back to Lake Stevens. And yeah, it stopped after that. But yeah, a lot of people had a lot of interesting things to say.
Yeah.
Did you want Tim to read one?
Did you
of
find your funny email?
Yes. So it's not a lot, but it's a little snippet. So
Okay, yeah.
these are the type of messages
that's
I was
perfect.
getting.
Okay. So I'm just reading this email as if he is saying this to Ezra. So he says, "Hello, my name is Jefferson Laderas. And my phone number is 093-77055. My occupation is painter. And I want to say, sir, man, I am interested to... I can't say it. I am interested to job painters. How to apply?
Oh, man.
Please give me application."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can tell it's a foreign message.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This
Even
is,
the phone number is like 15 digits instead of 10.
yeah, I don't have the accent, but this guy said, "Good night, sir." Okay. "Good night, sir. Please, I need a job. Please help me."
Please help me.
"Am interested, sir. Am from Nigeria.
Oh.
Lagos. Please help me. This is my phone number. 7778788. I need a job. Please help me from Nigeria this week. And you." The end.
Maybe it was an exclamation. Good night.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for doing that, Tim. That was hilarious.
I was
Wow,
just remember
Nigeria too.
that you had a great accent when you were like, this is very, very clean.
Oh, yes. Yes. If you want to look up a funny video.
Oh, it is so
And
funny.
Yes.
It's slightly inappropriate.
Well, no,
That's
I don't
fun.
think so.
It's a basic life function.
Yes.
Okay.
It is Wilbur Sagunaraj, and he teaches you how to use the Eastern latrine.
It's a very, very clean method.
Well, should we end on a
That
high
is
note?
funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Well, thank you guys so much for being on our podcast. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have to have you guys back.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks for having
It
us
was
on.
really
Yep.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun just to get together and laugh and record it while we're doing it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's really fun.
Making memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I was thinking about writing like a little ending jingle or something. Maybe that song that I came up with could be it.
No.
There you go.
I already forgot how it went.
We
But
need better recording.
yeah.
Can she remember the jingle?
Exactly. Oh man. All right. Well, I hope you all have a good week, and we'll see you later.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
This has been the Double Pod Podcast with